coming to you live from CBT Studios in the heart of the Golden State. I'm your host, Matt, and joined with me as always is my co-host,
Roger.
And this is the Cryptid vs. Cryptid podcast. Let's jump right into the magic. So, we're back, continuing that 2-week streak.
Let's go. I like what you did with the intro, too. That was pretty good.
Yeah, seeing as we don't live in the same place, I had to get a little creative with it there. But I think it'll work. So a little explanation before we hop into things. It's a Tuesday right now at 7:30 in the evening. We usually record Sundays, so I have plenty of time to edit the podcast. Well, that didn't fucking happen, so if you're wondering why this episode isn't quite as well crafted as it usually is, it's because I probably didn't have enough time to edit it, and that's just how it's gonna be.
Also on my bad, he was trying to do it Monday, but I was busy, so just didn't really line up.
Shit happens, but you know what? We're continuing the 2-week streak, so that's all that matters. It's been a long time since we've recorded like this, and so I didn't know when you cracked the soda, because when your mic peaks, it doesn't, let the sound go through, so I was like, I'll just give it a couple seconds, and then I'll just keep going.
Yeah, you might have to edit it. It's a little weird. Because I did it, and then as I did it, you started talking, so it's just gonna be, that's the one little editing bit you'll have to do.
The little bit of editing I will do is, throw in the music, maybe cut out a little bit of dead space, but we'll see. But with that out of the way, Roger, what are we doing here tonight?
It is the 5,000 download special tonight.
That is right. You, ladies and gentlemen, have gotten us to 5,000 total downloads for the podcast.
I just can't believe we're here, even with our fucking 6-month hiatus.
I know, it's been a long road, and it's not going to stop, hopefully. We have a lot planned on the horizon, so we're going to keep the ball rolling. But seriously, thank you. We wouldn't have kept doing this if it wasn't for all the downloads and support the show gets, so it's very much appreciated. And in all fairness, we should probably explain a little bit about the 6-month hiatus.
Yeah, it wasn't fun stuff, at least on my part, but then we also kind of just got a little lazy on our part too, but stuff was happening in my life that was very big, and I just couldn't really be there for it. And then obviously you had your own reasons, so that's at least my explanation of things.
Yeah, I'll hop in with my side. Right around the time we dropped off the podcast is when I got a new job, and that's where just a lot of my focus and stuff went to. Wasn't really thinking about the podcast on the daily like I usually would, and it kind of just got set in the back burner. And then some more life stuff happened, and after doing the podcast for a year, recording all those episodes, all the extra ones for Patreon when we had it, setting up all the guests to come over and doing all the editing, it just became a lot, and I got burnt out. And I went in with the mindset of, we're going to have so much fun doing this that it'll never feel like any work at all. And boy, was I wrong. After 1 month of editing, it felt like the biggest workload I've ever experienced. And so it kind of just caught up to me, and honestly, I needed a break. But after 6 months, I wanted to do it again, had some good ideas, and now I'm going into it realizing that it's going to be a lot of work, but it's what we enjoy, or what I enjoy, and so I'm going to push through all that work. And that's about all I have to say in regards to the hiatus. So, let's hop into our next topic of discussion. Since it is just a download special, we're just going to talk about some basic fun stuff. So, starting us off, Roger, you got your top 3 episodes?
Top 3 episodes. Just keep talking. I mean, actually, I can talk through this. So, obviously, number 1 for me is gonna be Goatman versus El Chupacabra, purely because of Goatman for me. But that was like such a big episode for me with storytelling and shit that it was just kind of like a milestone for me, and so now nothing can really top it. So, going back to the beginning for that is always needed. Number 2 has to be a latest one, the Palmyra Wolves conspiracy. I really love that one, and going into that one as like a kind of a niche conspiracy theory that not a whole lot of people I thought knew about, but then seeing the support for it was kind of insane, and so that's number 2. And as for number 3, Jersey Devil and Thunderbird was actually a fun one to do. I liked that one, mostly because I was looking forward to Jersey Devil since like we started the podcast, since he's such a big one. And then Thunderbird, learning about him was really interesting. And then just the battle in general was a good one.
All right. That's pretty good. I think in the first, if we're just talking strictly seasons, the first season, I'm not going to lie, I think Goatman versus El Chupacabra, and this isn't including the mashup and rehash, but Goatman versus El Chupacabra, I think it's my favorite of like the original 4 that we ever did. Just because that was really fun with all the stories, and El Chupacabra was a fun one to throw in the ring. Although kind of an unfair matchup against Goatman, but whatever.
That was just, that was our beginning mashup shit. So,
We had to get our name out there, so we threw in a bunch of heavy hitter names. But as far as top 3 go for me, I think I'm going to start off with number 3, and that would have to be Cryptid mashup and rehash number 3, where we had Justin as our guest star of the episode.
That was a good one. I totally forgot about that for some reason, but that was a very long one and very fun.
Oh yeah, still our longest episode to date. And it was just a lot of fun. There was a lot of back and forth in that episode, and having Justin on was awesome. And I don't know, I think that was definitely a top for me. Going to number 2, I'm gonna have to go with another mashup and rehash. The first Cryptid mashup and rehash. Mainly because, that was our 5th episode. It was kind of a big deal to me. And, it was a lot of fun. It was like, because we did Cryptid versus Cryptid 4 episodes. They're kind of all the same, like, layout and style. And then we did Cryptid mashup and rehash, which was really our first different kind of take. Yeah. But I thought it went well, and I loved having Devon on. It definitely added to the podcast, and hopefully we can have him on again soon.
Yeah, that was also kind of just like the end of the first very big season for us, and so it's just kind of a big deal overall.
Yeah, no, it was, I don't know. Looking at it, like, we did the first season in like 3 months, which is crazy, because all this feels like it takes a lot longer, but
was it really 3 months? Because I feel like we had a big space between episode 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, it was about a month difference between episode 1 and 2. And then episode 3, 4, and 5 were all in March. March 3rd, March 17th, and March 31st.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why, I just thought of it as a different time.
Yeah. I do have an honorable mention. The honorable mention would have to be Cryptids versus Cryptid Crate.
Oh, totally forgot about that one.
Yeah, and this isn't because we're being bought out and we got free stuff or whatever, but it was the first time we really worked with anybody outside of our circle, and I really liked their product. It really fit the podcast, and that one was just really fun to do, really enjoyable, and I appreciate everybody on that side for hooking us up with all that stuff.
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get more opportunities like that in the future, as long as we keep this up on our schedule. But if I would have to pick my favorite episode out of all of them, it would probably have to be OG Bigfoot versus Mothman. It's cliche, I know, episode 1. I don't know, there's just something about it that always warms my heart. It's a total mess. We have no idea what we're doing, but it was a fire time, and, you know,
I mean,
it's nostalgic.
It's good to see where we kind of came from and like how we kind of matured with this podcast. If you just look at an episode now and then look at the one back then.
Oh yeah, that I'll definitely say this. It's probably our worst put together episode by far.
Yeah,
like, it's a fucking mess.
Well, like I said, first episode obviously ain't gonna be fucking perfect in any way.
No, I mean, we were finding our footing. It's like when we did a Skinwalker Ranch. Kind of tried to do this point system. Didn't really work, so we threw out the idea and kind of are getting our foot in with this whole cryptid versus conspiracy thing.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised that one's not number one, or at least close to number one. That's why Palmyra Wolves is going to be is a big one for me, because it passed it and is nearing the top too.
Yeah, so Skinwalker Ranch is our 4th most popular one. Palmyra Wolves at 3rd, and I'm not gonna lie, if it can keep this up, it may move to spot 2 and beat Michigan Dogman versus Wendigo.
Holy shit. No, let's go.
I mean, Bigfoot versus Mothman is literally double Palmyra Wolves, so I don't see it reaching the top so far, or anytime soon.
Yeah, you never know. It just starts getting downloads left and right, and then, boom.
One day, once we hit it big and have our big break. Okay, talked about our top 3 episodes. Let's move on to our favorite conspiracy theories.
Palmyra Wolves, by far. Hey, there's no contest for me. That one, I found that one, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I love this one. Because it's simply just, like, so, I don't know, real to me more than the other ones. Like, Skinwalker Ranch has some strange shit, but there's always these kind of holes that you can poke in it. And then alien abductions, they have some hard hitters, but again, holes you can poke through. But Palmyra Wolves was kind of just one where it just all made sense to me. And then how people reacted and the story, how it was told, it just, I don't know, it all flowed into me. And then I was like, this can actually be a thing.
Yeah, and it obviously paid off. It's our 4th or 3rd most popular episode. People got an interest in the lesser known conspiracies.
Yeah.
For mine, you know, big conspiracy guy. I listen to all the conspiracies. I think it's fun. But my favorite conspiracies would have to be any kind of government cover-up conspiracy. Because there's such a wide variety. You can go aliens talking about Roswell. You can go missing 411. And then you could go into more realistic ones, which my favorite one is probably the JFK assassination. Just because there's so much that doesn't make sense. So many people testing every part of it out. People writing books on what they've found. It's just so good, and I mean, the evidence speaks for itself. But yeah, those ones, just because they have more of a basis in reality, I really enjoy them. I think they're a lot of fun. And we'll have to get around to talking about some more kind of government conspiracies eventually.
Yeah, and hopefully live to tell them.
I'm not gonna lie. If we dug something up and broke some news and then, we died, I think I could die happy with that.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie.
Gotta die in a blaze of glory, obviously. Don't want to live a quiet life.
It'd be like if we go camping one day and then we get mauled to death by a Bigfoot. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind dying that way either.
Turn into Wendigos, easy.
Yeah. Alright. Uh, I mean, we had future conspiracies as something we were going to talk about, so we might as well knock it out here. I mean, I kind of talked about the ones that I want to cover, you know?
Yeah.
Are there any in the future that you want to talk about?
You said the Roswell incident. That's obviously a big one. Just going off kind of like the alien topic of things. I think diving into more of the like cryptids backstories or just things that our cryptids are in or involved in is like a big one or big ones we should start doing. I can't really think of any other ones that you didn't cover. Like government kind of just involves a lot of conspiracies. So it's kind of just like either government, the cryptids, and then aliens. Obviously, those are like kind of like the three categories I want to cover the most.
Yeah, and like we were talking about before we started recording, when it comes to like the origin stuff, like talking about, for example, the Patterson Gimlin film, probably the biggest piece of Bigfoot evidence, doing like a whole dive into that. We could talk about, there's a really famous picture associated with the Mothman, so we could cover that. There's some really famous Loch Ness Monster stuff, photographic evidence, and we can deep dive into that.
El Chupacabra and all the attacks on farms.
So, I mean, we're kind of, cryptid versus cryptid. We give you the basic rundown and some stories. Now we can use cryptids versus conspiracies to really dive in on the information we didn't touch much on in our regular episodes. No more future conspiracies you have in mind?
Like I said, those are all kind of just at least in general area of where they can think to go for future conspiracies with me.
Let's talk about a big upcoming event for the podcast. The Cryptid versus Cryptid World Tournament.
Oh, here we go.
Now, we've been hyping it up for a while. We're not going to spoil any brackets or tell you who's prepared for the fight and who's still training. But I thought it'd be fun to talk about our predictions, who we think is going to walk home with the title of the ultimate cryptid fighter. So you got any predictions for who might take the top, Roger?
Well, for that we have to look at all at least the champions of the last one. So we have Wendigo, Frogman,
Skinwalker.
that's right, Skinwalker won.
And Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot, and then what was number 5? Monkey Man?
Did we do? Oh shit.
I think it was
Wait.
Monkey Man, right?
Did I make a mistake somewhere? There's one cryptid mashup and rehash. There's number 2. There's number 3.
We just did number 5, I'm almost certain. That's
Nah, bruh.
what?
We just did number 4.
Hold on. No way.
Yeah, bruh. We did 4 seasons.
What the hell?
Yep. We
Because
only did 4.
Bigfoot?
Wendigo didn't win, bruh. That's what it was.
No,
Bigfoot won.
Bigfoot didn't win. Wendigo won.
Ah, shit, I think you might be right.
Yeah, Wendigo won.
That's right. You're right.
Wendigo, Frogman,
Skinwalker.
and then Monkey Man are kind of like competitors, but just depending on how we do stuff. Now that it's a tournament, 1v1 fights are going to kind of cancel those out, but those are always ones to look into. All the Bigfoots kind of have high chances of winning just because, they're fucking Bigfoots. Are we getting... So for tournament base, are we just doing 1v1 fights until the finale, or is it going to be some fights are like teams?
As far as it's concerned right now, we're going to be doing 1v1s, but depending on what the bracket looks like overall, we may switch it up and pair some cryptids up to increase their chances of moving on for the fun factor of doing the tournament. But I haven't really come to a conclusion or talked to you about it.
But one of the past champions that I've won, Just anyone with a high strength and like defense is going to be a big one. Like Goatman, any Bigfoot, Bunyip. Honestly, Omnicook is going to be a fucking interesting one to cover just because he's going to tear through everyone.
That's who I'm most afraid of in this tournament is Omnicook. Depending on if we do, like, let's say their health gets reset before every battle kind of thing, or if they only regain a certain amount between fights.
Yeah.
I think that'll play a big factor.
We'll have to talk about it because Omnicook's going to be an interesting one to cover against all of them. But yeah, no, this whole finale fights tournament will be very interesting to cover.
I'm going to give you my top 3. You tell me what you think. Actually, I'm going to go top 5. I'll give you my top 5. So, starting off at number 5, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for Krampus.
Oh, that's right. We're covering holiday specials, too. I didn't even think about that.
Holiday specials.
Oh,
we're also covering SCPs. What were some other ones we did?
We're covering SCPs. Oh, I totally forgot about those. Okay.
Yep, Rake versus Tiki Toby.
Omnicook's going to have a little harder trouble then, if I didn't think about any of those.
Yeah, don't forget the Easter Bunny either.
Oh, shit. Never mind. I already know the winner. It's a done deal.
I don't think we ever released that episode either, did we?
Probably not.
Because for a while there, I started releasing the Patreon content on here, but I don't think I ever released the Easter Bunny one. Well, if you guys are interested in the Easter Bunny episode, let us know, and maybe we'll cover it next Easter. But okay, yeah. Top 5, Krampus at number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go Skinwalker because of the diversity in abilities. I think that could come in play. On top of that, didn't we give him good stealth?
Yeah, that's why he won in the first place, I think. Or at least one of the reasons.
So I think tied in with his stealth, and then how he can have more diverse stats with whatever animal he turns into, that could lead to some interesting plays going through the entire tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, I'm going to have to give it to my boy, the Skookum Monster, because that rage ability is going to carry him a long, long way.
Yeah, that's true.
Because at that point, he'll be able to outstrength some of the strongest competitors. And then, number 2, we got the Omnicook. That one should be obvious. He's a monster.
They call him the apex predator for a reason. Just saying.
And if he does lose, I honestly don't really have a certain pick that I could say, oh, this person is the one who can take him out. Because the only reason he lost the mashup was because he was ganged up, or he had to fight so many people, and he was just weakened to the point he couldn't fight anymore.
The only way I can see him losing is if he has to go against one of the SCPs that we covered. Because those are kind of nasty. Also, maybe the Rake. But
I don't know about the Rake. I'm going to be honest, I think Krampus is going to have a good run with some of his Christmas magic, but I don't know if he could beat Omnicook.
I'm talking about, just against Omnicook, the only thing I can see with the Rake is that he has that kind of like affecting the mind ability. And so that could give him the kind of the jump on Omnicook. But other than that, no.
And I'm not going to lie, a low-key competitor for the win against the Omnicook could be the Jersey Devil.
Yeah?
Sticking to the air, just spitting fire or acid when he can. I think that could carry him to the win against Omnicook. But I mean, talking about the fights, we'll reserve that for when it comes time. And then, number 1, who I think is going to take home the gold.
Please don't say what I think you're about to say.
We got Frogman, baby!
Fucking God. No,
okay, I just screamed into my microphone, so I'm sorry, everybody. I said Frogman.
That was muffled for me, so thank God.
Oh no, I'm looking at the fucking thing on my computer, and it just blew out eardrums.
What I can say is that if it comes down to the finale, and Monkey Man and Frog Man are going against each other, we're gonna have a match. It's gonna be intense. A lot of emotions gonna be shared.
First round is gonna be Monkey Man versus Frog Man. First round.
Oh shit! Hitting us with the emotional ones in the start.
No, I'm just playing about Frogman. I do hope he wins, but I'm not putting all my eggs in the Frogman basket. My actual number one is gonna be Bigfoot, keeping it OG. And I'm gonna do everything in my power to talk up Bigfoot through the entire tournament, no matter what.
Oh my god, here we go.
Bro, he's the OG, number one cryptid. The first cryptid we ever covered on the podcast.
What happens when he has to go against Skookum Monster, though?
Bro, he's gonna pull out some hyper-intelligent plays, bro. Plus,
Alright.
Skookum Monster's gonna get so lost in rage, bro, he's gonna trip and fall off a cliff and kill himself.
Oh my god.
Boom. Bigfoot's thinking tactically, bro. Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of my biggest concerns for a matchup. I'm hoping a lot of other people take out some of the heavy hitters. Alright. What were we talking about? I think we were talking about Bigfoot.
Yes. I'm about to lead it into just we'll have to see.
See, we will. Trust me, pal. Trust me. Any other predictions, or does that wrap it up for you?
That wraps it up. I'm gonna have to think a little on my number one. But, Omikook is kind of like a major factor.
Yeah, he's a cryptid eliminator. Easily. Alright, let's hop into the last thing we plan on doing for tonight. Talking about the TikTok.
Yep. So hit us with that. What did you think of? Not me, you.
Yeah, so just for some background information, we've been talking up this new news segment for the show for a while now. And yesterday, because I wouldn't say freaking out, but I was like trying to get an episode in order to go out today, I thought, hey, fuck it, I'll record the news thing on my own. Well, it went horribly. The episode was only 3 minutes long, and I'm not going to put something out that's only 3 minutes long. It's a podcast, not a YouTube video. And then today at work, I was just kind of, thinking about the podcast like I do sometimes when I'm not really doing anything. And I thought, oh my god, short news segments? That would be perfect for the TikTok that we do nothing with already. And boom, the idea was born.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good idea to get at least some views onto the TikTok there. And then even more downloads for the podcast.
Oh yeah. And I'm thinking about buying a Bigfoot mask and wearing it while I do the news. Because obviously I'm not going to out myself. Don't want people finding me in the real world.
Could be interesting.
Yeah, I'm still thinking of ways to do it because I've never posted a TikTok before, so I don't really know how it works, but I'll figure it out. I'm young, I'm hip, I can figure it out.
We'll just have to see how it goes.
That we will. And I think that brings this episode to a close.
Pretty much. I mean, we just gotta touch up on, if you ever want to get in contact with us, you go to our email, cryptidversuscryptid@gmail.com. There you can probably get in contact with us the best. We also have the Instagram, which doesn't get too much attention, but probably the most out of all of them. We also have the Twitter, which literally gets no attention unless Matt's like, "Hey, Dokkan time? Let's post something on there."
I didn't realize I was on that Twitter account when I did that.
And then we have the TikTok, which we're trying to plan stuff to do.
Yeah, and all of those are usually just Cryptid versus Cryptid, and you'll see us. It's I think all the fucking profile pictures are just the one we use for the podcast, so it shouldn't be hard to distinguish us. Or you can go in the description of this episode and click the links that are there and go and check them out. And the Instagram and email are going to be the best ways to find us, because I checked both of those. on the daily. And once again, thank you all so much for 5,000 downloads.
Yeah, this is a very big milestone. I think when we first started the podcast, we were like, man, just imagine having this many downloads right now. And oh boy, it's coming true.
Yeah, back then, it was wild to get 60 downloads on our first episode.
Oh my god.
Now that episode's up to like 530 something, and the podcast overall is at 5,100 downloads already. Like, since we hit 5,000, we've gotten another 100 downloads, which, for us, is a bunch. You compare us to Joe Rogan, it's not much, but we'll get there, Joe. We'll get there. We're gonna get to the top of Arasaka Tower one day.
Oh my god. And he throws in a cyberpunk reference. There we go.
Yeah, bro, I'm gonna watch Edge Runners. 10 out of 10 show.
9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, no, you're right. 9.5. Alright, well, that's it from us here at Cryptid vs. Cryptid, and we'll see you in Cryptid vs. Conspiracies. Later.
Peace.